Hey guys! Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Savannah and this is my daughter Everly and this is Gracie. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my maternity leave, how you can take a maternity leave as a pet groomer, and also my plans for my business once I go back to work. Okay, so I grabbed a blanket because it's so bright out here and I'm gonna see if I can get her back to sleep. I got her to sleep in the rocking chair in her room, but now that it's bright out here, her eyes are wide open and we're going through this new thing. Well, new old thing. She used to do this, but we're back to only napping on me or on somebody. I can't transfer her to a crib, which love the baby snuggles, but also can't get anything done. So I'm hoping that's just a short phase. As you saw, I tried to get her down for a nap. That did not work. So before I get into the content of this video, I'm just gonna say, I know some of you are probably groomers wondering how you can take a mat leave as a groomer. And some of you are probably my clients. So in the description box below, I'm going to leave timestamps for the different kind of sections of this video. So if you don't want to stick around for all of it, that is totally fine. You can just click the blue timestamp next to what you want to watch and it'll skip to that part in the video for you. So first off, I want to talk about how my maternity leave ended up playing out. There was lots of roller coaster up and downs of what I thought my maternity leave would look like and what it's turning into. Then I want to get into some of my kind of tips of how you could take a maternity leave as a pet groomer. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about when I plan to go back to work and things that are going to change with my business when I go back. So let's just dive right in. To take you back when I started my business, it was November 2019. I started my own business. Before then, I was working for a mobile dog grooming company, so I was employed. Then I went self-employed in November. So November and December, I worked for myself. Starting the business, we knew that we wanted to start a family pretty soon. So knowing that, I signed up for self-employed EI. So I will mention that I'm in Canada. So if you are employed with a company, you pay into EI, your employer pays half and then you pay half. And then when you take mat leave, you get a full year, or you could take more if you kind of get less money per month. And depending on the company that you work for, things might be a little bit different. But generally in Canada, if you are employed and you're working full time, you get a year mat leave, which is amazing. Because I know in the States, some people only get like 6 weeks, which is not enough. It honestly, that's not enough, you guys. But anyways, when you're self-employed in Canada, things work a little bit differently. You have to either pay in yourself or not pay into EI at all. So when I started my business, right away, I signed up for the self-employed EI program. And looking at it, you need to make a certain amount of money the year before you try to claim EI or paternity or maternity leave for you to qualify. So just because I signed up didn't necessarily mean that I was going to be eligible. Now, when I was working in November and December, I paid very close attention to how much I was making. I looked through all of the requirements and I made sure that I made over that amount of money so that if I went on mat leave the following year, if we did get pregnant right away, which we did, that I would get those benefits. So I got pregnant in February, all was tickety-boo, we were super excited. I worked and didn't really think anything of it until tax season. So tax season is around, you have to file by like April, end of April or something. And our tax guy was going through everything with us and I was like, okay, when do I pay into that self-employed EI? You pay in, how much you pay in is based on how much you made. And he was like, oh, well, this year you don't qualify for that because you didn't make any money last year. So even though I took home money to pay our bills and I thought that was me making money, to the government, I didn't make any money that year because I took out a loan for the van and that went against what I made. So cue the rest of my pregnancy, me freaking out, thinking that I wasn't getting a maternity leave like everybody else does that has a normal job, people that aren't self-employed. I spent many days crying about it, freaking out about it, and then therefore when clients would ask me, how long is your maternity leave? I would tell them, I have no idea, I'm just playing it by ear, because I thought I would just have to go off of my savings and see how far that got me. I had no idea if I was only going to be off for a few months and then have to go back to work so we could pay our bills. So that was really stressful. And even after I had Everly, I still was in the mindset of, I guess we're just living off our savings for my portion of what I usually put into our household income. We'll see how far that gets us. She was born November 13th, and then in December, I just had this thought of like, you know what? Why don't I just try to apply for maternity leave? Maybe there's some sort of way around it. I don't know. It doesn't hurt to apply is what I thought. So I was at this point feeling kind of defeated. Everybody else gets a year. I don't get a year. Once again, I understand in Canada, we are very privileged to get a year mat leave. So I applied and I had somebody call me about my application, and they kind of went over things with me because they were confused. I didn't qualify for the self-employed, but it showed I didn't make money November, December. It was very confusing. So we went over my whole application, and what I realized by applying for the standard maternity leave benefits was that in 2019, I was only self-employed for November and December, but the rest of 2019, from end of October to January, the previous January, I was employed by a company and I had paid into EI, and so had my employer for her half. So I actually was able to get maternity leave off of that chunk of time that I work for someone. So it was honestly a huge blessing that I was only self-employed for 2 months in 2019, because I ended up qualifying for maternity leave. So that gets me into, I am off for a year. So in the beginning, when clients were asking me like, when are you coming back? And I would tell them, or you guys, if you're one of my clients watching, I don't know, I'll let you know, I'm gonna play it by ear. That's because I had no idea that I was gonna qualify for these benefits. And I am so thankful for that, because now having her, I can't imagine having to go back after 6 weeks, or even, I don't even know how long. I am so excited to spend a year with her, because they grow up so fast, you guys. I already can't believe how big she is. She's almost 7 months. Next week she'll be 7 months, and I wouldn't want to miss a freaking second of this. So I'll kind of get into how things with my business are going to change once I do go back, once it's been a year, at the end of this video. But right now, I want to get into how you can take maternity leave as a groomer. And I want to talk about this from both the standpoint if you work for a company or if you are self-employed. And I'm going to say that I don't have all the answers, because as you heard from my story, I was under the assumption I wasn't going to get any benefits. In Canada, we get a year. We're very blessed to have that. I'm only going off of kind of ideas for you. I follow a group on Facebook called Pregnant and Grooming for pet groomers. So if you are expecting or you're planning to start your family, I highly suggest that you join that group, because people are so helpful in there. So first of all, sorry, I have notes right here. First of all, if you are self-employed, look into seeing if there is any programs that you can pay into so that you can get a maternity leave. If you are employed, look into how much you're paying into EI or maternity leave, if your employer is doing that or not. I know in the States there's differences between like W-2 and like all these other things. I have no idea how things work in the States. So I strongly encourage you, The moment you find out you're pregnant, or the moment you are thinking about even getting pregnant, or if you just even know a sniff in the future that you're gonna get pregnant, look into if there's any programs that apply to you. And then my next tip is start saving. Come up with a plan, start putting some money aside in case A, you don't qualify for any of the programs, there aren't any programs. That's what I did throughout the 9 months that I was pregnant. Once I figured out that I wasn't gonna get a maternity leave, I did start putting more money into our savings in case I wasn't gonna get any benefits. And my tip for that, for saving, if you have a hard time already kind of like making ends meet, or you don't know where you're gonna get the money for savings, start saving your tips at least, because that's kind of our extra money anyways as groomers. Start saving your tips, start saving any cash money that you can save to put towards your leave with your baby, because I know everybody's different. I see on the pregnant and grooming page, lots of groomers, they are ready to go back to work right away, get back to grooming. Lots of people can take their babies to work with them in a salon. In the mobile, I don't have that option. First of all, because it's a small space, and second of all, because there's nowhere even to put a car seat for her. In my experience, I would have wanted as much time off with her as possible. If I didn't have those benefits, I would have wanted to save as much as possible.
So something that I forgot to mention is that if you run your own business, if you're in a salon, you could hire an employee to take your place to help fund some of your maternity leave, have extra income coming in, maybe even a couple employees. If you run a mobile, you could have somebody come work out of your van or trailer and take a cut of what they make per dog to help. I actually did look into this option, but I didn't find the right fit for a groomer to hire. But yeah, just wanted to add that in there.
Oh yes, something else that I have on my list is that if you are applying into the self-employed programs in Canada, okay, how do I explain this? Say I had been in business for like 5 years and I was making enough per year to be eligible for the self-employed EI program that I signed up for. I can't claim that self-employed EI until a year after I had applied for the program. So even if I was eligible for it with her, I would have just made it to a year to claim that. So if you are applying into any programs, look into seeing if there's a waiting period, etc. Okay, so many of my clients may have skipped to this portion of the video where I'm going to be talking about when I'm coming back to work and what I think that is going to look like for me. To be completely honest with you guys, don't hold me to any of this. Things could completely change in the next 5 or 6 months, who knows. So as I stated in the first portion of this video, I ended up getting maternity benefits, so I will be off for a year, which puts me to going back to work in about November. And that is what I plan to do right now. I plan to take the year off with her. They are only this small once that I just want to take in everything that I can. I know I have lots of people messaging me, asking me, when are you going to be back? Feel free to keep messaging me. If I choose to start doing dogs here and there or sooner, I will reach out to you guys and let you know. With the benefits that I'm on, if I do choose to go back a little bit sooner and do a couple dogs a week or whatever, I just have to let them know that. They will lower the amount of money that I get per month just based on how much I end up making. But right now, I don't plan on going back to grooming until my maternity leave is done. Now, what I'm thinking right now about going back is that I'm only going to be going back part-time. What that looks like, I don't know yet. I'm going to crunch some numbers and kind of see how many days I need to work in a month to make the amount of money that we need to sustain our life, kind of thing. And why that is A, daycare is very, very expensive where we live. It's like usually over $1,000 a month for a full-time position in daycare, which is just like nuts. Also, part of the reason I started my own business was the flexibility with my time, and I wanted to be able to be home with our kids as much as possible. So yes, the daycare cost is a thing, but also I just really want to spend as much time with our kids before they are in school. So that being said, with me only planning on going back part-time to work, Before, when I was working full-time, I already had like way too many clients. So if you have found a groomer that you're happy with, feel free to just stick with them, because I am gonna have to downsize in clients. And in the beginning, I am probably only going to be taking on dogs that are close to my area so I can kind of fit them in. I may also require that people have to book out for the year or book in advance so I know exactly what days I'm working. Also, that being said, before I went on maternity leave, I did try to find a groomer to hire, and where I live, it is very hard to find groomers and find good groomers too. So I ended up not being able to hire somebody, but I am open to the option of hiring somebody again. I think once we get the van kind of fixed up, I'll get into that in a second, I might put out another ad and see if there is any groomers looking to work in the mobile. So maybe on the days that I don't work, someone can work in it, and then I don't have to get rid of lots of my clients. So that is kind of my rough plan about me going back to work in the winter time. But again, don't hold me to any of that. Some of that could change. I could hire someone, I might not hire somebody, I might work more days, I might work less days. But right now, I am not coming back to work until winter time. That's what I'm planning. Lastly, I just want to get a little bit into some stuff going on with the van. I will probably make a separate video on this for all of the DIY van groomers that follow me, so you can kind of follow our journey of fixing up the van. We have decided that we are going to do some kind of rewiring in the van so that I have the option to either plug into people's houses or to use the generator, and so that I have the option to run the AC and the heat all the time and I'm not blowing breakers, etc. We'll get into that in another video. But yeah, I really want to have the option to plug into people's houses. Lots of my clients actually offer for me to plug in to either save me gas, which is like super nice of them, gas in the generator, or they don't really like the noise of the generator, which we are also going to be putting a muffler on the generator so it's a bit quieter when, before I go back to work. And we need the option to have the generator too in case somebody's house doesn't support me plugging in or they just don't want me plugging in. So we're going to be redoing a lot of the wiring in the van, and we're probably going to be working on that throughout the summer, which is another reason I probably won't be going back, because we're making fixes to the van and it's going to take a while. So I will be documenting that because I know lots of you are DIY van people, and I should probably keep you in on the scoop of what worked the first time we did the conversion, what didn't work, and how we're fixing it now, in case that helps some of you guys. So I think I have blabbed long enough. If I haven't answered your question about taking maternity leave as a groomer or my maternity leave plans, just leave them in the comments down below, and if I'm able to answer your question, I will. But thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah. And to all my clients, thank you for being so patient with me. I miss you guys. I love when you guys text me and you check in, and you're never annoying me if you're texting me, asking me when I'm coming back, because things could change all the time. And I also didn't give anybody a solid answer when I left. So please check in with me. I miss you guys. I can't wait to see your pups. Yeah, let me show you Gracie quick. She's doing so good, you guys. I know I did some videos about her congestive heart failure. She's doing really, really good, which we are very thankful for. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below, as we are trying to get back into weekly videos. And even though I'm not grooming, I've got some grooming related videos coming up soon. I need to stop blabbing. Right? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.